Hey, darling, let me get a good look at your chest. Nice. Alright, guys, welcome back. Today we're taking a look at the SHFiguarts Romance Dawn Nami. And this Romance Dawn line is really shaping up to be something special, I think. The Luffy was really good. Well, it had some flaws, but it still was pretty good. And the Nami looks to be quite in line with that as well. And I also saw some photos of Zoro, Sanji, and Usopp, and those look fantastic as well. Can't wait to get them all. So hopefully they could remain consistent with this line. Luffy was pretty good, and now we're checking out Nami, and hopefully she's up to his level as well, or even better. So without further ado, let's take a closer look at this figure and what she comes with. So in this package, you're going to get the figure herself, you're going to get a treasure chest, you're going to get a staff, you're going to get 4 face sculpts for Nami, 1 face sculpt for Luffy, a pair of open gesture hands, a pair of gripping hands for the staff, a pair of clasped hands, and 1 pointer finger. Alright, so let's take a closer look at Nami. She did come with these plastic pieces which are stuck inside, which I'm guessing is there to prevent any sort of the paint rubbing off on things. So hopefully in removing this I don't get any accidental paint rubs. But figure does look really good, especially the face. I think that's really spot on Nami there. Get some airbrush highlights and stuff on the hair. Really cool. Spot on there. For the most part, the stripes and stuff on her shirt looks pretty clean. Can't complain too much. Now we'll talk about this ugly thing later on. Does have a little blemish right there. Nice detail on the skirt. For those wondering, she does have underwear. And the boots. Looks pretty good. Alright, so let's get into the fun part here, which is the articulation. So let me pull this face off here, piece. So first thing I want to show is the fact that they just put a hinge and swivel here. And when I got the figure, it was actually spun around like this, so you couldn't get any up at all. So just in case the same thing happens to you, just pull off the face and make sure and orient this in the right direction. I mean, it doesn't do that much, but at least it gives us something. But even with that, the figure can't really look up that well. You're probably going to be using a lot of the torso joint to help you with that. So kind of a strange neck design there, but you can get some tilt from the bottom of the neck. Tilt up, tilt down. So the next strange piece of articulation is this shoulder joint. It's just a ball joint going down inside here, so you can actually move it around inside there, but there's no space for it to move really. So as far as I could see, it's just, why even bother doing that ball joint thing? Because you can't get any range forward, you can't get any range across the chest or anything, so it just seems like a pointless thing to put that ball joint down inside there. No range. but you do get normal range. The shoulders can get up to about here, can rotate around even though it goes at sort of an angle at this point. It does swivel on this top joint there, and yet also swivels on a bicep swivel, so sort of a pointless piece of articulation to add here if it was already there. The elbow is double jointed, which is good. The wrist is a ball hinge joint, so you can swivel that around and turn it whichever way. The torso is double ball pegged, so you get your tilt forward, your back. And the reason I'm holding this is because I'll show you all just now. As a matter of fact, let me just bring in Luffy. So as you can see on Luffy, he has the same sort of setup. Torso joint on top there, double ball peg, soft rubber piece going into the waist, so you can get movement from both those sides. And yeah, functions well. But then you have Nami, which is the same sort of setup. Torso joint on top, soft rubber piece, but then they did this. Put a big cut at the back of the shirt there. And at first I thought it was ripped, but they put a hinge straight down into the waist, and then they put a big nasty looking cut. I mean, that is extremely weird and quite unnecessary, I think. They could have simply put the ball peg into the waist, just like Luffy. Have the soft shirt piece, and then you get the same sort of movement. So as it is, you get that much tilt, you get this much crunch forward, but I'm so afraid to crunch it forward any more than this, because I think like this will rip over time if you have it like extended like that. What a strange joint to put there. Who made this? Jeez, that is extremely weird. Anyway, she could tilt back about this far. Did I show forward already? She could go forward about this far, as far as I'm willing to tilt it, and then it keeps pulling itself back together. The skirt, sorry, is a soft piece. I'll flash for you all there. So the legs do kick forward about that far, which is pretty good. You can kick out about that far. Thigh does swivel. And then the next confusing piece of articulation, single jointed knee. Just looking at this here, and scraped a whole bunch of the blue paint off of the stripes there. That is really annoying. And now realizing why they had that that plastic there. It's crazy. Alright, so moving on along. As mentioned, the knees just give you a 90. The ankles a little bit forward, barely anything back. It does swivel, and it does have a very limited. Why is this thing not focusing? Very limited ankle rocker, and it's done at such a weird angle, so you don't really seem to get like much out of it. It seems to be like too straight down into the boot. And then they did this on the toe joint, kind of rendering it pointless unless you're actually up on the toe. So very strange articulation choices on this figure. does look very good, but I don't think I agree with quite a lot of these articulation choices here. Kind of has me wondering, like, who made this? It seems like somebody from a completely different line made this figure, and it doesn't seem to match with Luffy's articulation at all. So my curiosity got the better of me, and I had to just pop her apart just to see why. And if you look inside here, you'll see that this piece is their attempt at trying to do something like this Luffy pants here, where those parts just sort of fold up into here, but even those don't work well. As mentioned in my review of Luffy, I take those off unless I have a picture to take or something. And this thing is meant to be in front, this gap here, unlike how it was on mine when I got it. And it's supposed to stay between this and this. So when you bend it, even though it's still stupid, it's supposed to cover up the hinge and stuff that's in there. It just doesn't work because it's crappily built. So I don't know who designed this, but whoever is doing that should go bake bread or something instead of making figures, to be quite honest with you. This is really stupid design. Sorry. So she does come with a staff, and this is not too much to talk about. It's just brown, no textures or anything on it. Next up, she does come with a treasure chest, and this is painted really nicely with gold paint all around. Some wood sculpting going on there, and it does hinge open, and you can see all that lovely treasure on the inside. She does come in package with these two clenched fists. She does come with two open gesture hands. She does come with two hands for holding the aforementioned staff. She does come with one pointing finger hand for the right hand side. She does come with that pair of clasped hands, which is basically one piece, no pun intended. She does come with the smiling head defaulting package. She does come with a laughing face sculpt. She does come with that bye sucker kind of face sculpt. She does come with that angry, I'll kill you all along face sculpt. And finally she comes with this comically angry face sculpt for when she's beating up Luffy or the rest of the crew. For height, she does stand around 5.5 inches tall. So next to a CT Toys Classic Suit Spider-Man. So she looks next to a CT Toys Brown Suited Wolverine. So she looks next to a Mafex Nightfall Batman. So she looks next to a Jada Toys Street Fighter 2 Ken. So she looks next to a Jada Toys Mega Man. So she looks next to a Marvel Legends Ant-Man. So she looks next to a Premium DNA Earthworm Jim. And then here's how she looks next to a Wavemate Romance Dawn Luffy. And they scale really nice together. Alright, so in closing, I don't think this figure is worth the $65 I asked for it. I think this would have been more fairly priced at Luffy's price, around $35. That treasure chest does not bump up the price that much, in my humble opinion. Maybe you could argue for Sanji and Zoro and stuff who's coming with like maybe multiple effect pieces and swords and stuff. But definitely she is not worth that price. The figure does look good, but some of the articulation choices that they made, very strange. That shoulder in particular, very ugly. The waist joint, or at least the back of the waist joint, very, very ugly indeed. The strange choice to give her no ability to look up. You could argue it's the head sculpt, but I don't think that If you did double ball pegs at the top of the head, I think that would have not been an issue. The legs has single jointed knees, and even though the arms have double jointed elbows, so not sure why they just didn't do double joints on it on her as well. And the ankle articulation, not the greatest. Also important to mention, as soon as I removed those plastic strips from around the torso and the waist, the blue stripe on top immediately started peeling every time we moved the torso joint. So the paint rub on that is extreme, and I would advise trying to find some alternate means, or probably not removing that plastic strip on top at all. So I hope this review was helpful to anybody who might have been on the fence about getting this figure. And until next time, y'all take care.